Ever since my long-lost younger brother Precious Treasure was found, I was gradually pushed to the margins by the family. To compensate for him, my father directly let him replace my position, taking over the project to which I had devoted all my heart and soul. The project encountered problems. My elder sister testified falsely on his behalf, dumping all the responsibility onto me. He was lonely and alone. My wife gave him meticulous care and attention, always saying that a sister-in-law is like a mother. She had to take my place in caring for this long-deprived younger brother. So in anger I sought him out for a confrontation, but he punched me and pushed me down the stairs, breaking my leg. Just when I thought my mother would say something fair, she advised me not to calculate too much. Even my daughter felt it would be better if her father was Precious Treasure. As I lay in the hospital bed, fuming to the point of suffocation, I suddenly awakened. It turned out, I was merely the vicious antagonist in an inspirational novel, pouring heart and effort into striving and starting a business. All of it was to let the male lead Precious Treasure reap the sweet fruits. After awakening to my fate, I directly gifted my wife and daughter to Precious Treasure, and voluntarily gave up the company inheritance rights before going abroad. However, when they all thought I had betrayed my kin and left, just a homeless dog, I made a high-profile return to the country, directly reaping the sweet fruits of Precious Treasure. When I had just awakened, those so-called family members of mine were still criticizing me. My parents, who had always valued me, now stood on the side of that other son. My mother said Treasure was not intentional. Moreover, at that time you argued with him too fiercely. It was normal for him to panic. Both sides were at fault, and you only got scratched a little. So this time let mother turn the page. Okay, son. Don't calculate anymore. She looked at me with pity, expecting me, as before, though dissatisfied, to still obediently act as the filial son according to her wishes. I indeed did as she wished, indifferently saying, "Okay, mother. Stop," then comforting me that she knew I had it quite hard too. "Wait until you are discharged. Mother will tell Aunt Wong to make delicious food for you." I still nodded coldly like that. My elder sister Precious Nun stared at me fixedly. She said, "For the project matters, sister will help. You no longer need to take responsibility for Treasure. Is that okay? Don't blame sister. Treasure is still a newcomer. He cannot bear such great pressure. Moreover, during the handover, you did not explain clearly. So you also have fault." I only remembered that the documents handed to Precious Treasure were detailed down to every small matter. Even the specific documents, which folder and which page to check, were all written clearly. It was just that Precious Treasure swallowed them whole and skimmed through, leading to important data being wrong. Of course, I would no longer argue with Precious Nun. Just once, and said nothing more. There was nothing to argue about. She clearly knew the problem lay with Precious Treasure, but to cover for him causing trouble and ruining the project, she schemed and calculated, dumping the huge pot onto me. After awakening, the wimage of the so-called eldest sister who sacrificed righteousness for family looked truly ridiculous in my eyes. Those continuous cold responses could make them feel uncomfortable. Father continued speaking. "Son, rest well. Wait until you are discharged. Then return to the company to continue helping Treasure. He just entered the company and needs achievements to convince everyone. You as the elder brother must be magnanimous and lend your younger brother a hand. Once he stands firm in the company, you will be reinstated." I looked at father curiously, not knowing if he still remembered, once proudly boasting about himself, treating all children equally. Back then, when I entered the company, he still insisted I start from the grassroots. At that time I said nothing, dove headfirst into the grassroots, struggled for 8 years to reach the position I have now. But as soon as Precious Treasure proposed wanting to enter the company, father let Precious Treasure, who had just graduated with a finance degree, directly replace my position, taking over my nearly completed project. I looked at father and said no need for reinstatement. Wait until I am discharged. I will properly complete all handover work. Father frowned. You are saying, precious achievement. What trick are you playing with your parents here? I shook my head indifferently. No such thing. I am just tired. Planning to resign. At this moment, Precious Treasure, who had been silent, stepped forward and said, "Brother, I know with my level, I am not worthy of this position, and letting you support me is too wasteful of your talent. You don't need to resign. The one who should resign is me. As for pushing you down the stairs, though I did not intend it, it truly was my fault. I have always felt guilty. Coming here today was to apologize to you, unexpectedly making you even unhappier. Sorry, brother." His face full of remorse, but his eyes full of calculation. Unfortunately, except for me, everyone only saw the expression on his face. Father immediately continued scolding me. From childhood, father taught you to be a person, must be magnanimous and generous. This is how you treat your younger brother. Mother sadly shook her head and said, "Treasure was stolen right after birth. For so many years suffering outside, finally finding him, caring for him more is also normal. Precious achievement. Why, for such a small matter, do you turn against the family? Precious." None coldly looked at me and said, "Parents, you stop talking. Precious achievement is that young master temperament. Everyone must revolve around him to be satisfied. Look at how you painstakingly, he is not moved at all. In my opinion, he is just selfish and profit-seeking." I pinched my mouth, suddenly remembering before Precious Treasure returned, me and everyone in the family. But that warm scene no longer stirred any emotion in my heart. It seems this is also a side effect after awakening, making me no longer moved by meaningless emotions. I calmly said to them, "Yes, yes, 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 everything you say is right, but now I am tired." "Is that not allowed, Precious?" None coldly snorted and was about to speak. Father spoke, "Okay, Precious achievement is injured and needs quiet rest. Let's go first. Precious achievement, you also calm down. Everything wait until you are discharged. The whole family sit down and talk properly." Mother wanted to say something, looking at me, finally said, "Mother will come visit you again in 2 days." Precious Treasure said to the woman beside me, "Sister-in-law, please take care of brother more. And spirit, remember to be good. Don't make father angry." Precious Nun also said, "Sister-in-law, thank you so much." Hearing that sibling tone, I looked up, saw Precious Nun lightly pat the arm of Willow like Grace, and Precious Treasure bent down, gently instructing Precious Spirit. Looking at this mother and daughter, their eyes looking at me full of disdain and disapproval, I suddenly discovered because earlier they were silent, making me forget. In the hospital room, there were also the so-called wife and daughter of mine. After father and they left, in the hospital room only Willow like Grace and Precious Spirit remained. Like Grace looked at me for a while, sighed and said, "In the past you were very mature and steady. How now have you become so unreasonable? Treasure after all is your younger brother, and suffered outside for so many years. You should care for him more. Why keep confronting him?" I agreed and said, "You are right. In the future please care for him more. Now I am tired and need rest." She angrily stomped her foot and said, "What kind of person are you? I have said so many times. I care for him because he is your younger brother. Can your thoughts be a bit purer?" I was truly tired, so too lazy to open my mouth to remind her. Just in half a year, she had completed the change in addressing Precious Treasure from your younger brother to Treasure. The next second, a childish voice rang out, "Father, calculating against your own younger brother. Father is really too much." Precious Spirit at 7 years old pursed her lips, eyes full of contempt and disregard. In the past I found her precocity amusing, but since Precious Treasure appeared, her precocity completely turned into attacks against me. She thought I was too strict with her, and did not care for her, only focusing on work, while her uncle often came to buy her small gifts. So she hated me, always finding fault with her uncle who was Precious Treasure. How outrageous. Both mother and daughter are the same. I said, "Too much, then you endure it. Anyway, you are about to be freed." I closed my eyes and said, "Okay, father truly needs rest now." Before closing my eyes for a second, I saw Precious Spirit, a flash of surprise and unease in her eyes. In my ears came the scolding of Willow, like Grace. She said, "What nonsense are you saying to a child?" I did not open my eyes to look at Willow like Grace, but in her voice there was also a bit of unease. What are this mother and daughter doing again? I continued closing my eyes. After a while heard the voice of Willow like Grace say, "You rest well on your own. Calm down. I will take Spirit home first." As soon as they left the door, I heard Precious Spirit outside the door say, "Mother, If only Uncle Treasure had been found earlier, it would be great. That way the one marrying mother would be him. My father would also become him. The voice of Willow like Grace indifferently said, "Don't talk nonsense." Then the mother and daughter gradually walked away. I listened to their conversation. No longer had the heart-wrenching pain as before, but very quickly sank into sleep. I dreamed of some old matters with parents. My elder sister before was also a harmonious and happy complete family. Even that year nearly went bankrupt. The money at home only enough for one person to study abroad. She no matter what refused to continue studying. Insisted on letting me study abroad. In that most difficult time, parents never reduced a single penny of my living expenses, or said a word about the family's difficulties. Only afraid I would eat poorly or sleep badly. Then I dreamed of Willow like Grace. She and I were university classmates, in the same club for a long time. Hearts in harmony, she said, knowing our family backgrounds were vastly different. She wanted to become even more outstanding to be worthy of me. I repeatedly expressed that my family had no concept of matching doors, but she still refused my help, insisted on sharing living expenses equally with me, and through her own efforts won a scholarship. At that time she truly had deep feelings for me. Once, a close friend of hers told her that a woman's youth is priceless. Spending men's money is natural, told her not to be fooled by me. She even turned against that close friend for it. From then on no longer interacted. My family knew we truly loved each other, also supported us being together. Then we married and had precious Spirit. I once to save Spirit rolled down the steps, comatose for 3 days and 3 nights. The doctor said nearly could not save. When I woke, saw Willow like Grace beside my bed crying rivers, saying if I did not wake, she would not live either. The scenes in the dream kept changing. I dreamed of precious Spirit again. At 3 years old, seriously ill. At that time Willow like Grace was in another province unable to return in time. I was in charge of a major company project, so I worked days and cared for precious Spirit nights. 7 days only slept 10 hours. She recovered, then it was my turn to fall seriously ill. At that time just a precious Spirit small and cute like a round bun. Eyes red saying, wanted to grow up quickly. That way could care for father, not let father suffer anymore. I sometimes felt my family affection and love were both complete. Life though had ups and downs, but overall still smooth. This lifetime should be very happy and continue happily forever, until precious treasure appeared in my life. Waking up I blinked a few times. Recalling the matters in the dream, felt like looking at another person's life. I stayed in the hospital 2 more days. Confirmed okay, then discharged. On the discharge day, those who said they would pick me up, parents and wife, not a single one appeared. Instead, while I was hailing a taxi, saw the friend circle of precious treasure. He posted thanks to parents, elder sister, sister-in-law and little niece. Woke early to organize birthday for him. I smiled, swiped away that friend circle. They truly once gave me family warmth hard to forget. So when they asked me for precious treasure, to yield and endure, I agreed one time after another. But now I feel it is enough. I still have a whole beautiful life ahead. Cannot forever sink in a quagmire unable to escape. Returning home I started packing luggage. While packing suddenly felt annoyed. Not because of those people, but because I had lived in this house for several years. Now had to drag out every single item of mine, taking a lot of effort. Packed until about 7 in the evening. That mother and daughter pair returned. Willow like Grace opened the door seeing me then, face full of guilt saying, "Sorry husband, today is Treasure's birthday. Forgot about your discharge. Just now I took Spirit to the hospital. Only then knew you had returned home on your own long ago." But very quickly after her voice carried a bit of blame. She said you discharged on your own. Also had to tell wife and child. We and Spirit ran a useless trip. Daunt again for trivial matters. Get angry. I shook my head no. Just a bit busy. Forgot to send message to you. She sharply said busy what to forget even that. And you just discharged what busy. Speaking of packing clothes. She said what to pack. Oh right me and Spirit rushed to pick you up. Still haven't eaten yet. Precious Spirit stepped forward shyly saying child wants to eat fried instant noodles with egg. This is her characteristic way of making peace. In the past, every time husband and wife argued, not long after the child would run to say to me, Child wants to eat what? Then I would smile. Go to the kitchen to make for the child. Thinking back, a vice general manager of a large enterprise, managing so many employees. For this mother and daughter even learned cooking and making meals. In the end fell to empty-handed outcome. Dying miserably without a stitch to cover. What am I packing for? But packing until now my stomach was truly hungry. So I went to the kitchen. With peripheral vision saw the mother and daughter breathe a sigh of relief. 10 minutes later I brought out a bowl of noodles. Placed on the table. Willow like Grace stared blankly asking only one bowl. Precious Spirit also immediately stopped. Asking father added chili or not, and also chicken leg. Willow like Grace then dazed. You how forget daughter does not eat spicy. Also does not eat chicken anymore. I drank a sip of soup then smiled. The child does not eat. But I eat. I am also hungry. Eating my fill what problem? The faces of the mother and daughter immediately darkened. Precious Spirit stiffly said child not eating anymore. Willow like Grace glanced at me. Coldly said I take Spirit out to eat. I did not care about their figures slamming the door and leaving. Happily ate the whole bowl of noodles clean. Then continued packing luggage. Packing nearly done. I called to appoint a lawyer to discuss divorce. How dare I use the company legal department? Wouldn't it be before preparing done? Already known by others, I want divorce. Still better to find on my own for peace of mind. That night, the mother and daughter Willow like Grace did not return. I also did not care. Anyway, with Willow like Grace as mother there, surely nothing would happen. The next day I on time went to lawyer office to discuss. Midway received many calls. Looked closely all from those family paper ones. I directly turned off ring. Waited until done stepped out sky already dark. I casually chose a number to call back right upon connecting. My mother's worried voice rang out. Mother said precious achievement. Yesterday was Treasure's birthday. Parents forgetting to pick you up, discharge was wrong. But you also cannot abandon wife and child. If not them running to find treasure. Mother still not know you even meal for them did not cook. I helplessly said that day housekeeper on leave. No one at home how to do. Moreover, they also not without money. Can go out to eat on their own. Mother sighed, said son listen to mother. Don't be petty with daughter-in-law. Treasure always. Self-blames for you like that he will be very uneasy. Your father and sister both do not want to see him unhappy. I said then what about son mother? Mother said. Achievement son don't be like that. You and Treasure both are mother's sons. To mother palm and back of hand both are flesh. I calmly asked. Then mother wants son to do what? Mother said you take initiative to yield first. Apologize to the mother and daughter. Then explain a bit to Treasure. To let him rest assured. The whole family why distinguish right wrong. I sneered okay. Just recently son a bit busy. In a few days, son will go find them. Mother said you this. I did not wait for mother to finish hung up. In heart thinking must quickly divorce. Consider it fulfilling them. Returning home. The mother and daughter Willow like Grace already at home. Seeing me each face cold. Willow like Grace spoke first. Could it be me and Spirit not returning all night? You not worried at all? Did you go out philandering? I did not want to explain that I did not philander. Isn't there you as mother? You surely will care for the child well. Moreover, you also once said, Spirit feels her father too strict. Sees father is afraid. Told me give daughter some private space. The faces of the mother and daughter stiffened at the same time. Surely they remembered the previous time. When they very late still not back. Willow like Grace phone also no one answered. I angry to nearly report police. Until I saw the friend circle of precious treasure. The feeling at that time. Like a basin of cold water poured from head to foot. The mother and daughter both went playing with precious treasure. The newly opened amusement park really fun. Evening even ate a meal together. Passersby thought they were a family of 3. Even proactively offered to take photo help. The friend circle of precious treasure posted exactly that group photo. And captioned, mistaken for a family of 3. Dying of laughter exactly using this sentence to block my mouth. So I have no reason to be angry. Anyway he also self-said. Just found it amusing. Until past 10 in the evening. I then heard the door opening sound. Under my harsh questioning. Willow like Grace very disdainfully replied. Spirit also needs private space. You also don't control too much. Moreover, you don't need to worry so. There is me as mother. I naturally will care for Spirit well. Precious Spirit said nothing, but her expression at that time exactly like her mother, cold and impatient. I pulled back my thoughts, smiled at them saying you played happily good. I go wash first. I ate outside already. If you haven't eaten, then order delivery yourselves. Aunt helper tomorrow returns. Precious Spirit suddenly spoke, a bit tense, saying, Mid-July there is a movie about to premiere. It is a movie for a family of 3 to watch together. Mid-July if smooth. Me and Willow like Grace also passed the cooling period. Can get the divorce paper right. I smiled at Precious Spirit saying no time. You go find your Uncle Treasure. He's surely very willing. Precious Spirit froze on the spot, eyes showing hurt. The child angrily stiffly said father said right. Still should find Uncle Treasure better. Said finished the child ran to her room, slammed the door. The mother and daughter truly both like slamming doors. Witnessing all this, Willow like Grace, angrily said, Precious achievement, you enough yet Spirit proactively sent peace signal. You need to sarcastically whimpley like that. The child still just a child. Since when your heart so narrow? She suddenly deflated again. Wrong saying precious achievement. I know you angry at me. I can change. Spirit also will change. You don't be like this okay? If it was any day before I was hospitalized, she said this sentence, I would all tell myself just let it go. Anyway they are my wife and child. Should trust them. But now already late. These 3 years I countless times after each argument, wanted to open heart talk properly with her. Clearly I only wanted to talk. But each time, Willow, like Grace all groundlessly changed topic. Said I had no attitude of admitting fault. In the end turned into only criticizing my faults. Precious Spirit even more directly said the child does not want to listen. If I want the child close to me, then must learn more from the child's Uncle Treasure way of getting along with the child, instead of being strict with the child. Now I have learned, but they again not satisfied. Monday going to work. I sent resignation letter to mailbox of Precious Nun, then started writing handover documents. Every 5 minutes Precious Nun again called me into her office. Coldly said you again want to play what trick? I said resign only. What else could it be? She like heard something funny. Snorted. She said you how old already? Still use resignation to threaten people. Precious Nun. Suddenly, a bit helpless said Precious achievement. Before was sister's attitude not good. Sister apologizes to you. But, why you just cannot get along with Treasure? He even not an adopted son, but our flesh and blood brother. I before also once thought so. But Precious Treasure does not want. From the first day he stepped into the home, I already saw in his eyes looking at me, clear hatred and malice. Precious Treasure must seize all the things I care about, and I already tired. No longer want to continue competing with him. Of course Precious Nun would not believe, so I also not say. Just looked at her. She seemed to know I serious. Face increasingly ugly. Finally coldly said you want to resign. Then tell father yourself. I nodded. I will say. But procedures at your place also must go. On the other hand, sister quickly find someone. Precious Treasure also fine. Anyone fine quickly take over the work I am handling. 1 month later I definitely will leave. Precious Nun bit lip said then you go out. I turned and walked. At the door then, she called me brother is. Because want to save relationship with. Like Grace and Spirit. Only resign right. If so, sister can help you say I cut off her words. Is for myself. I go first. Off work I received father's phone. Told me weekend. Return home eat meal. Also said Willow, like Grace and Precious Spirit also will come. Hung up then I again received lawyer's phone. Lawyer said already sent divorce agreement to my email. Told me free then look over. My spirit lifted. Quickly returned. Home logged into email. After reading carefully once. I to the lawyer's work efficiency and ability. Extremely satisfied. Door opening sound rang. Willow, like Grace and Precious Spirit returned. This time later than usual 1 hour. I swiped friend circle. Did not see Precious Treasure post anything. Not know blocked me or not post. But calculate from school to home also half hour. That half hour. Surely not enough for them to dine with Precious Treasure. Willow like Grace face full of fatigue. She looked at me, said, today I went to pick Spirit. Teacher said the child recently study not focused. Also often loses temper. Frequently argues with friends. Precious achievement. No matter how great your resentment, temporarily put aside. Okay. Spirit after all is your daughter. You as father cannot really ignore the child. I looked at precious spirit. Every time I disciplined the child, she would run hide behind mother, wronged, crying and complaining. And Willow, like Grace, also would take the chance to scold me. This education way too rough. Children must use words, cannot use corporal punishment. I truly could discipline the child. Just does the child need me to discipline? I walked to in front of her, squatted down, asked, Spirit, you have worries, right? If you want to say, then say it out. If within father's ability, father will help you. Willow, like Grace, had one correct sentence. Precious spirit after all is my daughter. When grown, then ignore. At least now. I cannot let the child, only 7 years old, go astray. Precious spirit pursed lips. Without beating around the bush said, child hopes father forever is child's father. I rubbed the child's head, promised that as long as you still acknowledge father, father will forever be your father. I again looked at Willow, like Grace. She also cold face said, the child of course will acknowledge you. What nonsense are you saying? This, completely different from the plot I knew after awakening. According to the plot development I knew, in the family dinner Saturday evening, I would, because of the closeness of the mother and daughter with precious treasure, fly into a thunderous rage. Willow, like Grace, also thoroughly disappointed in me, propose divorce. Precious spirit point at me say, the child does not need this evil man as father. With Willow, like Grace, I no longer had any expectation, but cannot deny, precious spirit still had a bit that moved me. So this is the last chance I give the child. Saturday, me and the mother and daughter Willow, like Grace, on time arrived old home. Opening door. Precious treasure was the first to greet. He happily looked at me, said, brother, you came, I really very happy. The expression on his face so sincere. No wonder can be the male lead. I, without showing anything, said, father called son. Son of course must come. Father a bit awkward. Coughed twice, said, enough. Whole family eat a meal only. No need to speak so stiffly. On the dining table mother also very careful. Scooped food for precious treasure, done. Very quickly again scooped for me an identical piece. My father said, right, precious achievement. The matter of your resignation don't mention anymore. He put down chopsticks. Said, father will give you long leave. Wait until you return, still continue as vice general manager. As for treasure part, father will open a separate company for son to train. Wait until have experience, then enter main company. Precious treasure behind, said, son no opinion. Everything listen to father arrange. Moreover, son truly experience still lacking. Need to learn more. But his hand holding chopsticks gripped tight. Nearly broke the chopsticks. Precious. None sneered, looking at me. Said, this way big young master, satisfied yet. I politely smiled. Precious treasure would not take being beaten passively. He surely has follow-up moves. After the meal mother pulled me into the dining room to talk. Asked about my well-being. Making me like returning before precious treasure came back. Just ultimately still something different. Talked with mother done, I went to the hall. Heard in the garden voices talking. I walked over. In the garden. Precious spirit bowed head, not daring to look at precious treasure. The child said, sorry uncle. Child decided to go with father watch that movie. Said, finished again hurriedly, but later. Child will watch other movie with uncle. Precious treasure face slightly pale, but still gently coaxed, hey silly. Sorry for what? Movie for father and child to watch with father is normal. Willow, like Grace, eyes full of gentleness. She sighed, said, precious achievement. If had half the care for others as little uncle, then good. Precious treasure understanding, said sister-in-law. Sister, don't say that. He is like that also because he cares for you all. Sometimes I also think, if I did not return to this home, then would it be better for everyone? Willow, like Grace, quickly cut him off, said, don't say that. None of us think so. Spirit also very likes uncle. Precious spirit continuously nodded, said uncle. Actually, child always hoped uncle could be child's father. But mother said father sacrificed a lot for child. Child cannot make father sad. This was when precious treasure saw me. In the corner that the mother and daughter Willow, like Grace, could not see. He carried a triumphant smile. Mouthed to me, trash. Then he pretended surprised, called brother. Willow, like Grace and precious spirit both startled. Also saw me. In their eyes all panic. Precious Treasure quickly stepped up, held my hand, explained, Brother, listen to me. Listen to me, okay. His voice even carried crying. I slowly pulled his hand away. Willow like Grace, pursed lips said enough. Treasure also not intentional. We also not say anything excessive. Precious Achievement, you don't like this, I helplessly. I still not said anything. Still not done anything. Precious Spirit, though nervous, but still stepped up, stood blocking in front of Precious Treasure. Afraid I hurt Uncle. Precious Treasure said, Sister-in-law Spirit, you two go first, okay? I want to say a few private words to Brother. The two, though worried, but still listened to Precious Treasure and left. Before leaving, still continuously looked at me and him. I understood clearly that absolutely not worry for me, only worry for Precious Treasure. When only as two left, Precious Treasure's expression changed. Mocked said, look at the person you hold in the apex of your heart. Only care for himself. Surely feel very uncomfortable in heart, right? I only felt puzzled. I asked, ultimately, why you have such great malice toward me? When you were taken away, I was only 2 years old. Precious Treasure gradually went mad. Because I not resigned. Both sons of the Precious family. You more than 20 years lived big young master life. While I even worse than a beggar. I know you look down on me, only graduated technical college. But from childhood I was tortured by that dog man and woman pair. Every day had to do all housework. Fundamentally no time to study. I could study technical college. Because in high school, that whole family suddenly accident died all. I then freed. So I hate you. I definitely will seize all the things you value. He calmed down. Malice in eyes not concealed at all. He said, now parents, elder sister, even your wife and child still have feelings for you. But I tell you, very soon they will completely despise you. You wait and see. I calmly asked him. I still thought you missed parents too much. Even love my wife, so jealous of me. He like heard absurd story. He ha laughed loudly. They also worthy. They just tools for me to revenge you. I exactly want you to watch with eyes open. Your parents, elder sister, wife, child all despise you. Abandon. You said finished. He triumphantly left. I looked at his back. No anger and unease. Only curious, not know how he will do. 3 days later I knew. That morning I just woke. My bedroom door was angrily pushed hard by Willow like Grace. Yes, since I discharged, I always slept separately from her. I had never seen Willow like Grace like this. Eyes red, face full of hatred. She shouted, Treasure committed suicide already. You satisfied yet? I hurriedly went to the hospital where Precious Treasure lay. I saw parents and Precious none. Eyes red surrounding Precious Treasure's bed. Precious Spirit immediately rushed over. Crying screamed, Uncle, Uncle, what happened to you? Uncle, don't scare child. Mother saw me. The person before still quite gentle to me, at this time quickly stepped over. Scolded you ultimately that day. Said what to Treasure? Her eyes looking at me full of hatred. He drank a whole bottle of sleeping pills. Father coldly looked at me. Said your resignation matter I approve. From today you and company no longer relation. The money you spent from childhood to adult I not calculate with you. But later don't hope I give you a penny. Family assets only leave for sister and Treasure. Precious. None viciously glared at me. Said you also don't hope use Precious family name. Earn money outside anymore. If I discover, I absolutely not spare you. I nodded. Said okay. These years I earned money for company. Already far exceed the amount Precious family spent on me from childhood to adult. I not owe them. And those years working, I also used salary from company. Invested separately. Long ago achieved financial freedom. Mother suddenly cried again. She cried and recounted Precious achievement. How you become like this? You know Treasure. He wrote suicide note saying, himself should not return. Even in coma always saying sorry to you. Not want to seize anything of yours. Told you not hate him like that. 2 brothers. You cannot tolerate him to this extent. I looked at Mother. Thought if at this time Precious Treasure woke, surely triumphant, extremely. I directly rolled eyes. Turned planning to leave, but next second Willow like Grace called me. She hoarse voice said, wait, I cannot continue living with a man like you. In 2 days I will find lawyer draft divorce agreement. Precious Spirit wiped face. Also echoed such bad person, not worthy to be child's father. The child fiercely shouted at me. Child not need evil person like you as father. This sentence just out. The sword of Damocles hanging overhead finally fell. Turned head, the child again rushed into precious treasure. Crying said, "Uncle, child wrong. Later child only listen to uncle. That movie child only want uncle watch with us. Uncle quickly wake, okay." I hummed to Willow. Like Grace said, "No need. These 2 days divorce agreement I have ready. You free then return to look also fine. If no problem then sign." You said what? Willow. Like Grace's face suddenly pale. Unbelieving looked at me, asked, "You have ready divorce agreement? Since when?" I sneered, said right. 2 days after I discharged. Willow, like Grace's chest kept heaving. She stammered, "Precious achievement, how you so heartless." Precious. None could not bear my coldness. Suddenly grabbed my left hand. Said, "You quickly go apologize to Treasure for sister. Not get apology then don't hope stop. Otherwise sister will not acknowledge this brother anymore." I raised right hand fiercely pushed her away. Not waiting for her to speak, I frowned. Said, "Before Miss Precious. My left hand once seriously injured. Hope you don't use such force." Precious. None suddenly changed color. Father and mother also startled. Then faces pale. I knew they remembered. That year rival bankrupt sought revenge. My left hand, exactly to protect them, was beaten by rival, breaking bones to pieces. From then cannot lift heavy things. Also cannot move flexibly. Precious. None moved lips. Face pale, retreated 1 step. I looked at them, said, "If no other matters, then I go." When leaving the hospital room, I seemed to hear a call, "Precious achievement." The next day, me and Willow, like Grace, went to Civil Affairs Bureau do divorce procedures. Last night when she brought Precious Spirit home, already saw me holding printed divorce agreement waiting ready. She could not avoid, and because before already said harsh words, only could grit teeth sign name, out of Civil Affairs Bureau. I immediately called moving company, transport my already packed luggage away, left the home I lived several years. After 1 month cooling, we again met at Civil Affairs Bureau. I signed first. Her hand slightly trembled. Suddenly she threw the pen. Angrily, "Precious achievement. You truly heartless. To prove you not care. You even own daughter can abandon." This sentence out. The Civil Affairs Bureau staff all used strange eyes look at me. Truly laughable. She started occupying moral high ground, splashing dirty water on me. This 1 month we fundamentally no contact. Instead, Precious Treasure, 2 days after I left hospital then woke. He every day messaged boasting. Willow, like Grace, every day went to care for him. Precious Spirit also frequently went to hospital visit him. To avoid Willow, like Grace, only caring for Precious Treasure. Forget divorce matter. I specially reminded her 1 day before cooling end. Very long after, I then received her angry voice message. She said, "Rest assured, I definitely will come." Thoughts returned to present. So I, in front of everyone, frowned, replied, "I satisfied your wish to be with him. Isn't it good?" She face pale. Seemed not expect I, who never said harsh words to her, actually frankly exposed. Said plainly in front of her. Willow, like Grace, immediately deflated. She quickly signed, name received divorce paper. Me and Willow, like Grace, together went out. Mood very good. I smiled at her. Said goodbye. Willow, like Grace, never meet again. 5 years later, me with surplus charming Jade and son returned to country. Precious Divine on back, said, "Father, father tired not. Child can walk self." Surplus charming Jade also smiled, said, "Son loves father. Let mother hold a while." Precious Divine also not heavy, carrying actually still fine. But I still listened. Handed son to his mother. But next second, a trembling voice rang, "Father." I turned head, looked. Long time no see. Willow, like Grace, leading Precious Spirit, dazed looking at me. Several years no see. Precious Spirit clearly grew much taller, while Willow, like Grace, much more haggard. Willow, like Grace, exclaimed, "Precious achievement. You returned." She stepped forward, wanted to hold my hand. I quickly retreated 1 step, avoided. At this time she then noticed surplus charming Jade beside me. She asked, "Who is this?" Willow, like Grace, eyes burst with anger. I politely replied, "This is my wife and son." She stared wide, asked, "You married already? And have child too?" Precious Divine tilted head, puzzled, asked, "Father, who are they?" Precious Spirit refuted, "He is child's father. Not your father." The child, like a little lioness angry, rushed over. I quickly blocked in front of Precious Divine, pushed the child away. The child dazed. Eyes welled with tears. The child said, "Father, father not need child anymore." The child cried loudly. Sobbing said, "Father, child wrong. Child should not believe that bad person's words. Father return with child. Okay, child only needs father alone. Child will never believe others again." Willow, like Grace, also red eyes, said, "You have recording evidence. Why not give us earlier? If I knew earlier, would not marry that bastard Precious Treasure." At this time a Cullinan stopped by the road. Driver got off hurriedly, came to us. Driver said, "Madam, sorry, I came late. I signaled surplus charming Jade bring son to car first." She looked at me, whispered to my ear, "Return early, okay? Otherwise I jealous." I glared at her, said my taste not bad to extent eat old grass. Wait until they got in car done. I coldly smiled at Willow, like Grace said, "Because I intentionally wanted you and Precious Treasure together. Otherwise, how worthy of the years I suffered." Willow, like Grace, face pale, said, "Sorry. Actually, I know you will not forgive me in spirit, but I still held a bit hope." Precious Spirit, full face tears. The child cried, screamed, "Father, child truly no wrong. Father, give child another chance. Last time only." I bent down, looked at the child, sighed, said, "That last chance you already used up 5 years ago. Consider father and child fate ended. Spirit father only can say to you, look forward. Don't entangle matters cannot be salvaged anymore." The child still wanted to say, "But I not give chance." Turned, got in car. That day after I left 1 month. Willow, like Grace, then registered marriage with Precious Treasure. At the same time father also officially appointed Precious Treasure as company vice general manager. I always followed their situation. Wait until Precious Treasure gradually stood firm. Willow, like Grace, pregnant. I then sent a recording to Precious Treasure and Willow, like Grace's phones. Exactly the dialogue between Precious Treasure and me in the old home garden that day. Sent, done. I not care anymore. Until today, got in car. Me and surplus charming Jade, the domestic subsidiary staff, also present. After greeting me, he reported the situation these years of Precious Treasure and Willow, like Grace, mother and child. In summary, 1 sentence, they live not well. Willow, like Grace, knew truth through recording, then collapsed. No matter how Precious Treasure begged. Willow, like Grace, still firmly divorced, even disregarding pregnant, and aborted the fetus. During dispute, Precious Treasure himself stepped wrong, rolled down stairs, broke leg. Willow, like Grace, held grudge for what he did, refused to call help. Wait until brought to hospital, his leg also could not save, only could limp for life. He wanted to find Precious, none for support, but Precious family all received the recording, also treated him as enemy. Mother avoided meeting. Father coldly mocked a cripple, not worthy to inherit Precious family industry. Precious, none, even directly chased him out of home. He no place to rely, only could grit teeth, not divorce. But Willow, like Grace, to him increasingly cold. Even led Precious Spirit moved to another home. Precious Treasure resented them, turning face heartless. Again took the company secrets of Precious family and Willow family he secretly collected over years. Sold to other company. 2 families' enterprises consecutively lost in key projects. Capital chain broken, nearly bankrupt. 2 companies unavoidably had to sell assets. Shrink scale, now only bitterly holding on. Precious Treasure then was angrily jointly by Precious family and Willow family. Sent to some nursing home. Precious, none still lenient. Not sent to madhouse. That nursing home, Green Mountains, Blue Waters. Conditions very good, but Precious Treasure lifetime not allowed to leave. Stay there forever. Estimate add a few more years. Precious Treasure still must go to madhouse. Hearing this I only smiled. I said, then I still must thank Precious Treasure. If not him, our company also not seize this advantage. Me and surplus charming Jade exactly to handle acquisition of Precious and Willow 2 families' assets returned to country. Surplus charming Jade smiled sweetly, threw into my arms, said, "Then isn't it all thanks to you? Isn't it you designed to let him sell their company secrets?" She again thought of something. Tense said, "I saw your daughter today, crying, begging forgiveness. You not soft-hearted, right? No right you 1,000 times. Not aloud, soft-hearted. I rubbed temples, helplessly said, you still not done. Look at son already asleep. I gently said, I only have divine as son. She coldly snorted, then good. I said, wife, you not assured. How about we have a few more? More a few for you. Aya wife, I wrong before finished saying. Surplus charming jade already. Angrily pinched my arm. In the time I in country. Parents precious. None all once found me. Each time I all avoided not meeting. Finally truly could not avoid. Only had to say clearly with them. Several years no see. Parents aged much. Even precious. None also had a few gray hairs. Seems these years. They not few times worried for company matters. Mother held my hand, tears full face. Father sighed briefly. Precious. None ashamed. But finally could not say a word. They apologized to me. Begged me forgive. Said all them blinded by heart. Not expect precious treasure heart so evil. They said, hope I can return. Future family assets. Still inherited by me. I tactfully refused. Politely said, today I come meet you all. Only want to say, fate between me and you ended 5 years ago. Hope later you don't find me anymore. Otherwise no matter how much those assets sell for. I also not dare guarantee. Said finished. I not look at their reaction, stood up, left. Behind came their regretful sighs. I felt like past a whole lifetime. After they indeed not find me anymore. And precious spirit sighed. Not know what willow. Like Grace said to the child. They also not appear before me anymore. Only the day me and surplus charming jade handled acquisition done. Brought son abroad at airport. Security told us. There are 4 big 1 small, total 5 people. Always secretly watching us. Security was hired by surplus charming. Jade worried those people again come disturb. Precious divine a bit tense. Asked me, father, are those people saying family of father right? I smiled, pinched sons. Cheek said just unrelated people. After passing security, check. My phone received a few messages. From unknown number. I only glanced. All a few words, forgive. Sorry, forever wait for you. I not tapped to see details but selected delete all. Those who abandoned me yesterday cannot keep. But fortunately, I looked towards surplus charming jade and precious divine. Heaven still let me find people who truly love me.